Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, Issue 1. And I gotta say, this is the comic that really kicked off my collecting journey when I was a kid. It's hard to remember because, I was so young. Ignore the coffee maker in the back. I need my energy. But I believe the Saga of the Swamp Thing #1 was my first comic that I ever got from my mom and my grandma. And then I think this came either in the same day or shortly thereafter. For those of you, like me, that grew up in Roswell, New Mexico, down on Main Street, there was a Denny's. The building's still there, but it's like Area 51 restaurant or something like that. And then across from it, there's been a building that's been there way before time itself. And it's now, I believe, a UFO souvenir shop. But at one point in the 80s, it was a comic shop. And I vividly remember going in there and seeing all the back issues. And, this was like one of my first times there. I didn't understand what was going on. So my mom kind of showed me how to flick through the books. And I remember getting Swamp Thing. And I think this was one of them that I got because at this point I had been a Ninja Turtle junkie for the cartoon and the figures forever. So getting this was something special to me. And this one I had to rebuy because all of the Ninja Turtle comics that I got when I was a kid, for those of us that have been collecting for a while, your first few ones, you're not thinking about collecting or longevity. You're thinking about, I'm enjoying this, I want it. So, I would read these every other day or every day while I was with my turtle toys. And then there were some that I would actually color in because I'm like, it's my book, I don't care. But man, years later, I went back and looked at them to the point where like the spines were just destroyed. Pages were falling off the freaking staple. And in hindsight, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have taken better care of them. But on that same token, I got to say that when I think about the Ninja Turtles, I've gotten rid of them at this point. I used them as some handouts so other people could enjoy them for the club. But whenever I think about it, I just remember how much fun I had with them, and it's such a happy time in my memory on top of, like how, as we all get older, things happen, but there's just a very happy point in my life, and so I had to at least get a nice copy of #1. The print date on this was March 1989, and I like that even at this point, Liard and Eastman were popular, it still says by Mirage Studios. That's awesome, even though this was an Archie comic, and you can very much see the Archie comic influence here. Like this looks like, you can interchange with Betty or Veronica. Now, with all that said, getting more into the comic in and of itself, this #1, apparently there was a miniseries before this that I did not know about that followed the first few episodes of the first season of the Ninja Turtles. This one picks up in season 2, and as we kind of go through, you guys should kind of remember where Leonardo and I can't remember if in the cartoon if it was Mikey, I think it was, go grocery shopping, and then their incognito trench coats, which I'm kind of glad that a lot of times they didn't use those creeper rubber masks. Oh, those things were freaking, yeah. Anyway, and then you can tell that this is also the cartoon because they're looking for pizza toppings, and they're like, oh, look, bean sprouts, wheat germ, peanut butter and jelly, and you're like, bleh, bleh, and you just kind of feel your stomach turning. Anyway, art and letters by Dave Garcia, adapted from scripts by Christy Marks and David Wise, colors by Barry Grossman, and editor was Victor Gorlick, I believe is how you pronounce that. Anyway, Leo's just like, Michelangelo, can't you think healthy? He's like, you had peanut butter and jelly last night. No way, man. I had chocolate chips and caramel fudge. And as you're reading, you can't help but hear the actors' voices. Oh man, I remember when I was a kid and I read this, I thought this was the bee's knees. But look at this now. You could so tell that this was Archie comics and how non-threatening these thugs look. And again, how Eastman was always inspired by Frank Miller's work. Even in here, I like how some of the thugs always look kind of like the mutants from The Dark Knight Returns. So here we get that iconic scene where the Turtles save the, the cashier. And Mikey does a thing where he hits the cans, knocks them down. And even though the artwork is silly and really, really simplistic, it's still fun, and you can actually think of the scenes from the cartoon in your mind. And Leo and Mike are like, "Oh, the police are coming." He's like, "Could you check us through fast, lady. We're in a big hurry. You're the ones who saved my life. It's on the house. And then, of course, as we're going through, this takes me back. All the turtles that you could order. I actually used to have one of these plushies, and I used to have the turtle blimp. I think my parents, unbeknownst to me, sold it. So I may have to look and see if the re-release of the turtle blimp is still not super expensive, because some of these prices I see on these re-releases, and I'm like, oh my God. And of course, here's April interviewing the cashier lady, and she's like, what took place here? These hoodlums tried to rob me, but then suddenly these turtles showed up. Or maybe they were alligators. I didn't have my glasses. Then again, they could have been salamanders. They all look alike to me. And I just love this April, like, April O'Neil, Channel 6 News, like, Jesus, lady, get it together. Going through, trying to, pages do not want to move. Hold on, there it goes. And even looking at the Dimension X artwork here, it's so simplistic. Remember, I think it was the end of season 1 where the Shredder and all them got stuck in Dimension X. What's his name? Oroku, what's his name? Splinter, Shredder. Is begging Krang to go back to Earth, take care of the turtle problem. Krang's just completely had it with Shredder. But he's like, just to quit your moaning, your bitching and moaning, I'll let you go. End this turtle business at once. And I love how Bebop and Rocksteady are like, make way for Bebop and Rocksteady, because here we come, Earth. Wham! Like, what'd you do that for? And even though this was a kid's comic, freaking Crane, because I enjoy seeing both people and animals suffer. And you, my friends, are both. I can't do the Crane voice. Now, for the cartoon, especially as the later seasons got a little more wackier, I'll admit the three characters should I really say, that I hated the most was Irma. Her pining always reminded me of Olive Oyl, and she just came off very annoying. And she even looks Olive Oyl-ish in the comic, because remember in the movie, the cartoon, she always looked more frumpy with the sagging socks. And then Vern, even though he's kind of different looking here, his pretentiousness, especially in this book, just makes your skin crawl. And then the boss, I can't remember the boss's name. Mr. Burns? No, it can't be Mr. Burns. I can't remember. But anyway, I couldn't stand him either, because he just always kind of had that always acted very much like I'm the bee's knees, but he was always easily enticed by outside sources, as where we can see here we get a very Archie-looking version of I can't remember her name, but the blonde from Blade Runner. That's what the outfit really reminds me of, and you can tell that she has Burnsy, as she calls him, around her little pinky. But I mean, look at this. April wants to show that the turtles are innocent, but Vern, was his name Vern? No, that's the other guy. God, I can't remember. Anyway, she's like, I'm going to prove the turtles are real. And Vern's just like, if you don't think you can handle it, don't sweat it, Vernon. If I had it, I'd do an interview with Bigfoot. And then Irma, if you do find out he's married, the eye rolling. But Splinter has this premonition that the Shredder has returned, so we get our, our stakes in the comic. And then, of course, with this episode, this is where he takes over the Slash for Cash gym and tries to whip these nerds, essentially. Like, this guy's like, no, what a bunch of useless wimps. The master's responsible for the student. What? Nobody talks like that to Smash, master of the Slash for Cash dojo. Whew. I wonder if the writer was just like, whatever, but I wonder if in the script notes for this, they said, make it as cheese as possible. But of course, I still always have to hear Uncle Phil's voice whenever I see Shredder. And of course, Shredder shows off his power and shows why he's going to be the leader of this dojo. And what happens, skip some pages here, skip some more pages, is he trains up that Slash for Cash dojo and makes the Crooked Crooked Ninja Turtle Gang. And yeah, so we've all seen this episode, and as silly as it was, it's still enjoyable to watch. And he's like, and when you tell the cops, remember the turtle part. Yeah, and he even gives them a freaking, where is it? Hold on, where is it? gives them a business card right here. In case you forget, here's our card, Crooked Ninja Turtle Gang, with a phone number. With a phone number. Crook gives a card with a phone number. At least the Joker was more inconspicuous and just gave a playing card. I mean, for God's sake. But anyway, this sullies the turtle's name. Shredder's like, Krang, see what I'm doing? I'm sullying the turtle's name and blah, blah, blah. And Krang's like, that's going to take forever. I want results now. And that's essentially where issue 1 of the main Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures comic ends. In hindsight, like as a kid, you're going to enjoy it. Hands down. But now that I'm, approaching 40 and more crotchety, I'm like, man, this was their idea of a main book first issue. Especially when you look at the cover. I mean, look at that cover. God, such a beautiful, memorable cover. And I'm glad that this issue that I got actually has the PLU thing, because that means that it's a newsstand issue compared to like how you'll see other comics. They have like a little graphic thing in there. That means direct edition. But yeah, a lot of these newsstands you can't find anymore. So I was just like, score! So yeah, guys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures issue 1. Is it cheesy as hell? Oh yeah. Is it going to bring up some really happy memories and nostalgia for you? Oh hell yeah. Is the art great? It serves its purpose, I guess. But overall, you got to have it in your collection so you can pass it down through your family as you get older. So if you guys have enjoyed this, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and see if they have any of these from this run in stock. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little hero and a half shell bell next to subscribe. That way, as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.